Welcome to Growth Sparks, the podcast for health and wellness entrepreneurs and practitioners. Here we dive into founder stories, innovations, and strategies of the entrepreneurs and business leaders who shape this dynamic industry. I'm your host, Riza Javellana, and today I am very happy to be joined by Nicholas Ferraro of Cellev8 to tell us about his story. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, thank you, Riza, for having me. I'm pretty excited to be on the show today and we'll spread the word about Cellev8 and we'll see where things go.
Awesome. So let's start off with your background. What led you to build Cellev8 with your father, from what I understand?
Yeah, so we're a father-son business duo. That's really the best way to put it. For us, I'll just come out and say it. We're men of faith. We walk according to his path to the best of our ability, even though we may stray every now and then. But I share that because that's really where the story begins. I'll talk a little bit about myself in that journey and then how I started working along with my father. While I was a college student at University of Miami, I started my own business, and this was my first steps in the entrepreneur space and being my own boss and all that. And
Mhm.
it was a lot of fun. The company was called Team Meals. We actually turned it into a total of three brands. So it was Team
Wow.
Meals, University Eats, and Peak Performance Meals. And you could kind of tell by the names that each one was geared toward a different customer. Team Meals for athletes and teams, University Eats for college students, and Peak Performance for just adults looking to eat better. And as scary as it is to maybe start one business at a time, starting three was pretty crazy. I learned a lot just from the get-go. I mean, I've heard some people say when you're an entrepreneur, it's good to fail fast because you learn what
Mhm.
works and what doesn't work. And you got to try, you got to put yourself out there. But, anyways, we had that business for about 4 years. Unfortunately, when COVID took over the world and everything was shut down, school, sports, gyms, and even going to college, basically everything when it became very challenging for us to reach our customers with the price of ingredients, everything too. Unfortunately, we had to shut that business down after about 4 years. So now we're into February or so of 2021, March or so. And that's when my dad first got introduced to superoxide dismutase or SOD. SOD is the main ingredient that fuels all of our Cellev8 products. And at the time, my dad was looking to take this business into a completely different direction. We were actually looking to take it into CBD. We had land lined up in Canada. We had land lined
Mhm.
up in Central and South America for growing. And he was actually going to a CBD extraction machine to see if this was something that would work for the business. While he was there, he took a long flight to get in. He was dealing with some inflammation in his leg, specifically his Achilles. And while he was in the meeting, he actually started dozing off a little bit. I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but he started losing focus. And one of the guys at the meeting looks at him and he goes, "You look like you need some SOD." And my dad's just like, "Okay, what's that?" They lead him into this room. They give him this big chemistry beaker, for lack of better terms, that contains a red liquid. He sends a picture to my mom. He goes, "Hey, Susie, if you don't hear from me in an hour, I'm drinking this red liquid with these guys. This is where I'm at." But he takes a drink or two, and within about 5, 10, 15 minutes, like his body's just coming back to life. And he feels as if he had just gotten a second wind for the day. His Achilles was feeling better, all these things, right? And at a certain point in the meeting, he goes, "Hey, I don't want to talk about the machine anymore. I want to talk about what was in that liquid and why do I feel this great?" And so the scientist starts telling him about free radicals, inflammation, oxidative stress, and drawing all these pictures. And the scientist holds up his pen like this, steady as a surgeon. He goes, "You wouldn't believe that I've had Parkinson's for 14 years." And while SOD is not a cure for anything like that, those are neurodegenerative diseases, right? It is able to help mask the symptoms of certain things, right? Not for everybody, but for this particular guy, he was the scientist that we originally started working with. And he takes it every day and lives a completely different life because of it. And when he doesn't, his symptoms are there: shuffled gait, slurred speech, obviously the tremens, and so on and so forth. So When he left that pharmaceutical plant, we had a bunch of little packets of this liquid. I started trying it. We put it in the hands of our family and friends, anybody that had any sort of ailments. Our bookkeeper, she has MS,
Mhm.
and she was going through some really hard times at this time too. I think she was dealing with a flare up with her MS, and she was the first person that I saw it have a dramatic effect on her because she went from not being able to do things like just taking out the trash, for example, to next thing you know, she's cleaning up the entire office just because she felt liberated from it. She does other things too, like she does our financials and all that stuff,
Yes.
but it was those type of things. That was the first experience I saw SOD have on one of our people. From there, took SOD. We started creating formulas, pairing it with other antioxidants, stuff that people are a little bit more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we started creating the products that we have today. Chose the name Cellev8 because we feel our products elevate your health at the cellular level. We chose the number 8 because in a lot of different cultures in the Bible and so on, 8 is something that stands for reincarnation, rejuvenation, and things of that nature. And then we started going after the products. So we rolled out our Prime Recovery, which back then it was inflammation recovery, back in March of 2023. And our Focus and Memory was actually our first product, and that came to market in January of 2023. So, yeah, it took about a year and a half to get there. And I was doing pretty much everything I could just to make some money between then and there, parking cars, even did a short stint in boat and yacht sales for a little bit. And that was pretty fun. But being able to get back into wellness and do it alongside my father and to grow the business to where we're at now with a lot of great things in front of us, I couldn't be more blessed and thankful for the journey that's brought me here.
I love how your dad seemed to have been fated to find this company, discover SOD, and eventually move in the direction of developing this company with you. Such a great story. And it sounds like Cellev8 can help with a lot of things. When you think about your primary customer, who would that be? Who's your ideal customer for Cellev8?
I guess to be specific but broad at the same time, active lifestyle adults are probably our largest customer segment. But really, one of the things we say is anybody with a body is somebody that would benefit from our products. The way our products work compared to a lot of other supplements is basically our products are just a very powerful combination of antioxidants, right? Antioxidants are what protect our bodies and our cells more specifically from any sort of disease, ailment, inflammation, or any sort of stressor that would otherwise harm our bodies, right? And with that said, our body is constantly in battle against free radicals. These are the things that cause that damage. So when you provide your body with more antioxidants, you're helping support your body fight those daily battles. Whether you're somebody again with MS or an athlete or somebody that just works hard. And when you are anxious, your brain is having millions of chemical reactions that actually destroy your cells. Not to be very morbid about it, but that's just the fact of the matter. And so, kind of dissecting from there, we have 4 products at the moment. Each one cater to a different type of individual. Our Prime Recovery is for people that are looking to better manage their inflammation. If you're an elderly person, for example, that's just looking to live a better quality of life or get the most out of your days, you'll benefit from the product because it has a variety of antioxidants with it. If you're a professional athlete, you are somebody that is constantly traveling, you're putting significant amounts of stress on your body in terms of weightlifting, games, practices, and so on. And our ingredients, again, kind of repair and better recover your body. Quite quick side note, we are actually serving over 50 teams, and I don't think we're in any Toronto teams yet, but we are serving a few teams up there in Canada. And then we have our Focus and Memory. That is, as you can tell, for cognitive support, brain health, and function, just kind of staying clear between the ears. That product does also work well with athletes, like any sort of endurance athlete. It helps them get into the flow state that some of these athletes you may have heard talk about. And then for somebody like you or I, that we're high performing professionals, it just keeps you productive, give your body an extra boost, whether it's 9 o'clock in the morning, you're without your coffee, or 2 p.m. and you're just trying to stay productive for the rest of the day. Our redrive product, this is our newest product. This is a very, very performance geared product. Sometimes I'll gravitate more to that one than our focus and memory one because like it gives me good energy. Again, professional athletes, high performing professionals.
Mhm.
And then our fourth product is our Slim Cell Gummy, which you can tell helps curb appetites and cravings, support individuals on weight loss journeys or looking to better manage their weight. And for any person that's on any of the GLP-1 injections or Ozempics and those type of weight loss drugs, one of the side effects that's a negative side effect from those injections is dramatic destruction of muscle tissue for those individuals. And the ingredients in our slim cell gummies actually are clinically proven to help prevent that sort of destruction from occurring. So it helps people in a lot of ways. And just a disclaimer on that because weight loss looks different for everybody, but it also is something that you gotta be covering all the bases to see the results you want. You can't just take our gummies and expect to lose 20 pounds if you're not eating right, if you're not being at least moderately physically active, and so on and so forth.
A good breadth of different supplements depending on your need, really. I read on your website that this is safe for children even. So you have children taking this supplement?
It's true. We've got quite a handful of them. Our youngest customer is about 4 or 5 years old, and he's been taking the product for well over a year now. He's an individual that has tremendous amounts of inflammation in his body. He has a genetic mutation called RYR1, which affects an individual's ability for their skeletal muscles to develop and strengthen, to put it loosely. It works similarly to MS. And when he first started taking our products, he could barely even stand for lengthy periods of time. And now taking them for over a year, he is able to swim in an Olympic-sized pool, push a car full of weights and blocks, and do these type of activities that you expect to see out of a young kid. But aside from him, ADHD is another thing that is very rampant in today's society, unfortunately. Our focus and memory gummies we don't have any clinical research around this yet, but from customer feedback, we've heard from our customers that it's helped with their kids paying more attention in class, getting better scores on their reading and math and all that. And there is clinical research on those ingredients, at an older population, but we don't have that type of stuff for kids yet. But yes, to answer your question, we do serve kids. And recently, we've actually been working with a lot of high school athletes too, getting them started at a younger level, teaching them about antioxidants, educating them about better ways to take care of their bodies. And hopefully they'll take that knowledge with them as they, grow and develop themselves.
Wow. So it tells me that you've really seen very good outcomes, impactful results across people who've used it. Switching gears a little bit to the business itself. So the business is about 2.5 years old, you would say, 2023 to 2025.
Almost three now.
Yeah. What does growth look like in the next 12 months?
Oh, wow. I couldn't be more excited for what lies ahead for us and our brand. I feel that this year we've really been putting a lot of dominoes in place to be successful this next year. We have gone through a lot of hardships and challenges, as with any business. If it was easy to start your own business, anybody could do it, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, while we've made progress internally, if the revenue and all these things on an external level aren't improving, have you really grown? I think yes. And what I mean by that is while our sales have been kind of same the last couple years, with that said, I think this next year we'll finally cross that $1 million and hopefully that multi-million-dollar threshold. Right now, we've been a little bit less than half of that. But again, with the dominoes we've been putting in place, we're very confident that we'll get there. I think another thing that we'll be working on is broadening our product line to better address other health needs. Like we have things like a sleep gummy and a few other different formulas in the works that those not only will help individuals with those type of things, but add to more revenue streams for us.
Yeah.
I think a big piece of the growth aspect is just partnerships. When it comes to supplements, it's one of the most sensitive industries for consumer packaged goods because at the end of the day, we as the consumers are literally consuming something that's hopefully going to make our bodies better, right? And God forbid that we do anything, consume anything that makes it worse, right? So, from our standpoint, we're really trying to gain more credibility and aligning ourselves with industry experts, doctors, scientists, people that lend that credibility to our brand, and of course, can help us bridge the gap with an average consumer. How do we take a complex thing like superoxide dismutase and explain it to this type of individual person that doesn't even know what an antioxidant does other than the fact that they know it's good for them? And then beside the doctors and those type of individuals, organizations. One of the bigger organizations that we have our eyes set on is the ASPDA, which is not to be confused with the ASPCA. The ASPDA is the Sport and Pro Dietitians Association, and we are very much looking to partner with them and attend their conference and form relationships with these teams and athletes at that high level because it's one thing to just talk about the teams and one thing to earn a sale, but it's another to get them to understand like why this product is better than some of our competitors, why it's better for their athletes, and hopefully reach more teams through that organization. Those are a couple things. Another, I guess, one more bullet too that's pretty top of mind is packaging. We want to really take our packaging to the next level where when it's in your hand, you feel inspired, you feel good about what you're about to consume and make it look sleek and sexy.
Yeah.
Even if it's a gummy vitamin.
What do you think has been the biggest bottleneck in terms of getting this into more hands?
Yeah, I think I just kind of hit on it too. Basically just the credibility and the
Mm.
understanding why. You
Yeah.
know, people will understand what tart cherry does for their bodies. More and more people are getting familiar with things like CoQ10 or even glutathione. When you throw something that they're not familiar with, they've never even heard of and all that stuff, and then you try to make them understand, no, your body produces this daily.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is a little bit of a hurdle, right? So I'd say that's definitely the biggest thing. And then when we have a customer, again, just reinforcing that why. You know, our products, while they do work for some people almost instantaneously, others it may take a month or even 3 months for them to realize, oh wow, I wasn't able to do that X amount of weeks ago. Or wow, I haven't taken my Cellev8 in maybe a week and I'm more sluggish. I am just not feeling myself the way I was a week or so ago.
Wow. Yeah, that awareness of what SOD is all about is certainly key in getting that
Mhm.
growth that you want.
Yeah. And one more part of it too would be content. I mean, I think that's actually the biggest thing because we need to make content that reinforces those whys, right? Whether that's tangible in the form of product inserts or shipment inserts or through the social media and videos, reels, all that stuff. Mhm.
Certainly, an opportunity that you've identified. When you zoom out and look at the trends in this industry, are there major shifts or new things that you're seeing that you're thinking about that will shape the future of your business?
That's a great question. I think the supplement space is becoming an incredible industry. I mean, it has been for really the past 40 years since protein powders and all that stuff first started hitting the market, right? Think about where that industry has gone from having those horribly tasting protein shakes, which were existing before I was alive, to now where you can literally have protein cereal and get 20 grams of protein with milk. I've seen things where there's patches now that people can put on their back that these patches contain zero ingredients, and the way they work is they stimulate your nervous system and send sensors and all these things to help you as the individual feel less pain or more balance or all these other things, focus. And I'll be the first to say I wear those patches when I go golfing and stuff, and I do shoot better. I'm still not good, but I feel a little bit better out there. I think a big part of it is really coming down to the ingredients too. People weren't aware of SOD 10, 20 years ago. I mean, a few scientists and medical experts were. They only discovered it in the 60s. But aside from our key ingredient, you're seeing things from sea moss to mushrooms
Yes.
to all these different things out there. Everybody's got the most powerful antioxidant, it seems. So I think it's exciting to survey what's out there. For us, we always ask ourselves, who's our closest competitor, right? Because there really isn't a true one with the formulas that we have, knock on wood. But there's a lot of people in the space that are doing better than us. So what can we learn from them to improve our brand, right?
So it's amazing that there are things that I've never heard of before talking to you that's readily there available for people to have. Where can people go to learn more about Cellev8?
Yeah, you can follow us on our social channels, at Cellev8 Nutrition. That's CELLE, V as in Victor, and then the number eight, Nutrition. That's where you can see all of our posts, reels, so on and so forth. Also, Cellev8.com, CELLEV, and then the number 8.com. You can learn more about our products, the science behind them, and of course, purchase and try the products for yourselves.
Great.
Amazon.
You're
Mhm.
available on Amazon. So it's either your website or Amazon where people can purchase Cellev8.
Yeah, our website, Amazon, Vitacost.com. Those would be the major outlets right now. Mhm.
You certainly have opened my mind into options out there for supplementing, for improving lifespans, health and wellness in general. So I really appreciate the time that you spent with me today, Nick, and good luck with the growth of your business.
Thank you, Riza, for having me. I'll just finish by saying one thing my father and I, and this is really what I've learned from him directly, is being a business owner, it's your goal to do good by doing good. And for us, doing good looks like, yeah, while we'll be successful, we aim to have a bigger impact on the lives of those around us. As it relates to you and your business, Riza, thank you for giving me an opportunity to share our business, hopefully inspire and educate those around us. And you're doing great yourself. Keep on doing what you're doing, and I'll be a listener from here on out for some of your future shows. So I look forward to
Yeah.
those.
Thank you so much, Nick.